Okay, first off, sorry for making this video instead of a written reply. It's just I'm too lazy to type all this out. Sorry. So first off, you asked why make something like this in C++ instead of something a little more English like C#. Well, there are a bunch of reasons, and honestly I'm probably going to forget some of them, but I'll try to remember all of them. So first off, I've been writing a lot of things in C++ recently, and when I started writing this, I just felt like keeping with that. The next thing I write will probably not be in C++ because I feel as though I need to practice other programming languages, but yeah, I wrote this one in C++. The other reason would be that C++ just makes it really easy to do potentially dangerous things like access random memory as some random data structure, like this one for material info right here, among other things. Like if you go back to when I first released the tool and look at how everything was doing it, it was basically just taking a pointer to memory, going through it and reinterpreting it all as different structures. And C++ made it really easy to do that and made it really easy to get something up and running really fast. If I didn't say C#, last time I worked with structs in C# that had to be particular alignments and stuff, the syntax was just really awkward. I don't know. Whereas in C++, I can just do a couple static asserts here and I know that it's going to be good to go. So yeah, the other thing is I wrote this as a bit of a speed demon thing. Like right from the start, one of the first things I did was use a multi-threading library to go as fast as possible, even though I haven't really optimized that part that well, so it doesn't go as fast as it possibly could, but it's on my to-do list. So yeah, that's why I wrote it in C++. Well, also the other thing is that and now even though that I've gotten rid of a lot of the structs in that I was using the dangerous reinterpret cast for, I replaced it with, an abstraction that's very low overhead and takes advantage of the type system. So you see like here, I've got this UCFB reader model that I then can read the name from. So by going like this, and what that line is doing, quite simply, is it's saying read the first child chunk here. I expect it to be name, and then read a string from that. And compared to what I was doing with just like reading raw structs and that isn't that much more expensive to do, and only in C++ I feel is it that easy to do that. So like if this line fails for some reason, it will throw an exception that we can then catch and print out to the user that, hey, something went wrong, but it doesn't have that much impact on the overall performance. So yeah, very low overhead abstractions, another reason, but I guess you can get those in C#. I don't know, I like C++. And the other thing I'm doing here that I like about C++ is with the type system. You see I have this UCFB reader strict, and then I have the dreaded angle bracket template syntax. But what I'm doing here is I'm putting the magic number, what I call the magic number of the chunk that I'm reading from at the moment, or I expect to be reading from at the moment, and I'm saying this function will only accept chunks of that type, and if it gets past any other, the application is going to throw up its hands and say, I can't do this. So, it's weird to say it, but the reason why C++ have made it easy to get good safety features, good performance, that's not that surprising with C++, and yeah, I was just running C++ code before I did this. You could, and your next question is, so I'll just answer that, right? How possible is it to put this code to C#? And yeah, so you could do all of this in C# probably, and it would probably be just as fast. It's definitely possible to put the code to C#. It's just going to be a lot of work. I don't know how many lines of code there are exactly, but I think there's probably there's definitely thousands. I don't know, might be around 10,000. You'd have to deal with all the things like strict alignment and stuff that C# might make a pain. I don't know the language too that well, but no, you can do it. The amount of work would be significant because you'd have to completely rewrite all my abstractions and stuff. So this is nope, wrong one. This is the core one here that does all the reading, as it were. You'd have to recreate something similar in C#. But yeah, you could do it. Absolutely. It's definitely possible. And yeah, it would be a lot easier than writing this from scratch than it was for me, because you have my code to go off to look at if you can manage to read it, because I understand that if you're not familiar with C++, reading C++ can be a little bit hard. But I don't know. The next question you had was, how difficult would it be to make your code go the other way and write LVLs instead? Well, it actually already has a thing to do that. So this UCFB, I keep clicking on the wrong one. This UCFB builder class is what I use to make the MESH files, mesh files, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, so basically it has the root one that you can then add child chunks to, and then child chunks to them. So yeah, it actually already has a class for writing at LVLs. It's not very complete and kind of messy, because I only wrote it real quickly when I was like, I really need to be able to write mesh files out. So yeah, I would probably update it a bit if I was going to actually have it write LVLs as well. But as it stands for mesh files, it's fine. But no, it totally can do it. And the reason I say mesh files, despite the fact they're not LVLs, they're close enough that it's basically the same thing. So I just wrote this. Yeah. So yeah, it can already do that to an extent. Then is it possible to create a builder class of sorts that would allow you to step through the LVL in programming, so we can skip the compilers? Well, when it comes to programming, just about anything's possible. So yeah, you could do something like rewrite this class right here to, well, not rewrite this one, but take this one and basically combine it with the reader class, so that you had a view into a space in memory. I know that wouldn't work. So that you copied the entire contents of a chunk, had a vector or array of all the chunk's children, and then yeah, you could operate on those in memory and then just call the save create buffer or save function to do it back. So yeah, you could operate on LVLs in memory. It's definitely possible. Don't know that I'm gonna do it, although I did have some ideas regarding editing model level of detail information and stuff like that, because I notice it's actually stored in the LVL, so you might be able to get really detailed models in game by just lying to the game about how detailed a model is, because it's stored separately from the model itself. But that's off topic anyway. So yeah, I might make something like that, but no, if you are feeling up to it, you absolutely can. And then we have the helpful comment from Led that made me chuckle. Only computer science students use C#. Yeah. It's completely irrelevant to everything. I just thought it was funny that he said it. Hope that answers your questions. You probably honestly can't understand me because I'm from New Zealand and we're notorious for mumbling, but oh well. Cheers.